Modified flower. That's not the flower he wanted. And okay. I think that's probably it for today. Got some good supermarket stuff. And yeah, I'll see YouTube tomorrow. Goodbye. Man, I've been streaming for 12 hours. Bah. Um, I'll be right back. Hold on. I'm back. Um. Don't know what I should talk about. I hunger more and more. I want to get food, but I don't want to order. Mm. Ugh. 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 Um. Bam, 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 no, 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 do, 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 do. Mm. Hmm. Hello, all my viewers, if you're even here. How's it going? I'm a freak. I'm a weirdo. Whew. Um, Call of Duty gamer rages. It's amazing. Hello, how's it going? How's your day, Neef? Don't know if you're here, but is it going all right? That's good. That's good. Um. Oh, no problem. It's just that time of day. You need lunch in your system. I don't know if I want to order something or just make myself a sandwich. Because um, sometimes you just want to make yourself something and not spend a dime for the day, and then sometimes you just are too lazy to make anything and you just want to order. I think I might order a sub. Or I could make myself a ham sandwich. I have ham. Um, Tell you what, I'll be back. I'm gonna probably grab myself some ham and cheese. Got that right there. Don't got cheese though. Got ham though. There. Need to start going grocery shopping soon. I only got a few stuff right now. I need going to grab a plate. There we go. Rice cake and ham. That's a weird combination, but don't got any bread right now. I thought it did. Neither do I have cheese. Not bad, not bad. Bit dry. Might actually grab something from the convenience store or order it on here. My phone. Drinks. Circle K has a lot of drinks, holy shit. $5 for water. Well, you can't see it, but it's right there. Oh, there we go. Jeez. I'd rather drink from straight from the tap. Got all the way down to. Let's see if there's any sports drinks. Pepsi Crush Lime. Fanta Orange Freeze. Too bad you can't change your frosters. Yeah, this is kind of good. There's a lot of strict stuff on DoorDash. Doesn't show all of the items on any of the stores. Anywho. Ugh. Don't know if you're still here, but what are you having for lunch? Tastes that good. Best before April 2nd. Although it was in the package for a while, so plastic might have changed the taste a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. I shouldn't put it on my bed. Okay. Um. Ooh. Boo. I'm over here now. Oh. Oh. Now I'm over here. Ooh. Don't know if you can see this. Ooh. Here we go. Ooh. Does it work? Yeah, it works. Okay. Um. Mr. Beast has a new video out. Don't know if I want to react to that. Sound. And I know that the heart will go on. Blank screen. Um, Whoo, boy. Guess I have to put another source for. I'll just do display capture. Woo! I want the other one. There we go. And then, oh my goodness. There we go. Then whenever I do that, boom. Then I guess what I want to try that right here. But place it right there. And then I want to display capture that. Shrink it. There we go. But I'm probably not going to use this screen. I'm just going to probably use the live screen. Ugh. Gmod ARGs are back, but why?
Good evening. How many of you remember Gmod ARGs?
What the hell?
Back in 2021, a truly bizarre phenomenon emerged from the depths of
Okay,
Gary's
good
Mod
intro.
community and began sweeping the internet. A huge catalog of classic old Gmod videos, just like those some of you probably remember from your childhood, but with a twist. If you look deep enough, there was something off about them. Dark figures stalking the player from a distance. Odd, paranoid behavior. Objects and character models moving around when they weren't supposed to. Subtle hints that something was very wrong. From Gunslinger Pro to classic GM videos, a ton of obscure channels like these kept being discovered, all with different strange undertones and cryptic hints pointing toward a grander mystery. If you read deeply enough into the blurry footage, you would uncover fascinating stories hidden in these seemingly innocuous videos. A sentient blue spy ragdoll tortured and held against his will by a cruel player, or some kind of ghostly apparition making unsettling changes to the map as the player explores it. And occasionally, there would be moments where the ominous paranormal forces behind it all would make their presence clear, and it could be genuinely startling. These videos flipped Gary's Mod's goofy sandbox nature into something much darker, and they came to be known widely online as Gmod ARGs.
Ooh, spooky ghost. Ghosts in my games.
Gmod ARGs made everyone view this beloved game in a brand new light, and it wound up being a huge deal. Being a massive Gmod fan from back in the day, I managed to get in on the ground floor and spent a lot of time shining light onto these ARGs and trying to uncover their secrets, even using my platform to bring some of them to light on my own, and it was a lot of fun. Watching these small channels grow from tens of subscribers to tens of thousands was genuinely fascinating. And it was
Dang.
crazy to see where do these things find its way to people like Pyrocynical, and even the creator of Gmod himself, Gary Newman.
Oh wait, now I
As
remember
Gmod
watching one
ARG
of his
started becoming
videos.
mainstream, something very sad happened.
I think
We
I
got lost in
watched.
the noise. There became too many ARGs to follow, too many with similar premises and not enough innovation. Whereas the
Yeah.
genre started to peak in popularity, people abruptly seemed to run out of ideas, and most of the ARGs people looked forward to seeing unfold stopped uploading. And for a long while, despite all the love people had for these series, Gmod ARGs
See, a
as
lot of
mediums
communities
were dead. It was a bit of a
start like
bummer to
that,
see such a beloved concept
like this
fade
very
away,
niche
leaving
thing,
behind, in
and
my opinion,
then
so much untapped potential. Regardless, I marched on and kept making
then
videos on
everybody
Source Engine stuff I was passionate
abuses it,
about. Recently, though,
abuses
something
that,
very
and
strange
then
has happened. Over the last year or so, almost as if in coordination, a bunch of the Gmod ARGs that were long considered dead in the water suddenly received massive spikes in activity. Some of these channels broke years worth of silence and suddenly started uploading like wildfire again. And it's left me and a bunch of other people wondering, what the hell is going on? Why have all of these accounts, which were never previously thought
it's because they let the whole entire like trend settle, and then once they saw like there's not as many views going to the other ones, then that's when they struck
to have been connected at all, suddenly come back in such a grandiose fashion, almost in unison. It's all a bit strange, don't you think? So given how bizarre these abrupt returns and sudden new developments are, how much I miss the glory days of Gmod ARGs, and how many videos I never got around to covering even back when these things were originally active, today I want to come back to talk a little bit more about them. I'm going to be talking about Gunslinger Pro 2009, Badwater Videos 2009, and Classic GM Videos, as well as a couple of other ARGs I never got around to covering before, which should be fun. And I'm also going to try and figure out what all the fuss is about with all these old beloved projects suddenly springing back to life. So let's start things off by going back to the ARG that, in my opinion, started.
See, one thing I don't like about ARGs is that it starts off as this cool thing, but then it just goes to like horror, or sometimes just makes no sense. So I feel like just ARGs that don't involve horror are pretty good. But there's always a lot of them that involve like scary stuff or like thrilling stuff.
Gunslinger Pro was not the first Gmod ARG. As far as I can tell, that crown technically goes to Gmod 9 fan re-uploads, which apparently started 6 years ago, Jesus. However, Gunslinger Pro was, at least in my opinion, the first Gmod ARG that was actually compelling, and it's the first one that went viral. The reason it was so well loved on arrival is because it was the first Gmod ARG to pose an, at the time, very interesting and novel concept. What if those ragdolls you played with in Gary's mod were real humans who felt pain and emotions, and they lived in perpetual fear of you as the player, who to them was an omnipotent godlike figure? There were a few characters established. The player, or Gunslinger Pro, who appeared as a Kleiner player model and was the protagonist of most of the series. Then there was a blue spy who would frequently break away from the
Blue
player's
spy?
plans, banging on screens and desperately trying to escape his grasp. Other ragdolls were also hinted to be alive in scenes where you'd see a slight subtle movement suggesting motor function, or probably my favorite, a scene where the player pulls the remover tool on a soldier ragdoll, who then frantically nods his head no, as if to beg for his life.
About that prick's face when he saw the gat.
The turning point of Gunslinger Pro was a cryptic
That poor
video
man.
uploaded from the perspective of that blue spy, showing that after one too many attempts to escape, the player used his Gmod tools to disfigure the spy by turning him into a freakish watermelon monster.
What the-
It might sound silly now, but back when Gmod ARGs were in
what
their
happened?
infancy, this was actually really creative. Wielding the innocuous tools we use in Gmod as a means to body horror was unheard of. The last video I covered on Gunslinger's channel was Gary's Mod Ultimate Sled Tutorial, in which the player gives us a tutorial on how to make a fast sled for the ancient Gmod sled racing game mode. At the end though, one of the heavy ragdolls they affixed to their TF2 themed sled stands up and starts trying to make friendly talk with the player, who then grabs them by the neck and chokes them as the video comes to an abrupt and unsettling
What
end.
the-
Since my last video on Gunslinger though, they've actually released 3 new videos that genuinely introduce quite a lot to the series mystery. The first one was Engineerland. It's a parody of an old Six Flags commercial that became a meme in the late 2000s, but Gunslingers remade it using TF2 characters, and it's some real classic stuff. It's only about a minute long, so
That's cool.
why don't we give it a watch together?
There once was a town that worked so hard, there was just no time for play.
Eh?
But that all changed on this one particular day.
Eh? There he is. What the? He's got some moves. Oh! He's like that dad breakdancer.
And there's a time for play. Six Flags. It's playtime.
Now, there's nothing outwardly scary about Engineerland. In fact, it actually put a goofy smile on my face the first time I watched it, because it's such a believable imitation of old classic Gmod videos. However, there is one detail in Engineerland that's a bit peculiar. This shot in the video shows a red heavy and a blue medic holding balloons. But this isn't the first time we've seen this scene. If we go back to the video where the tortured spy monster tries to break out of the dark room, we'll see that this same set of characters was also visible at the end of that. This implies that the video of the spy trying to escape happened during the production of this Engineerland video.
Continuity.
Kind of interesting. Take special note of this blue medic ragdoll, by the way. He'll be relevant again in just a second. After Engineerland, Gunslinger Pro then took another year-long hiatus before coming back with Garry's Mod Wire Mouse Turret tutorial, which is a bit more interesting. It's a bit
Wire
of a longer
mouse
video, though,
turret.
so I'll just summarize this.
Does it shoot
There's
mice?
an old Gmod add-on called Wire Mod that has long been used by the technically inclined side of the Gmod community to do crazy stuff like make mechs and mini games and complicated bases and vehicles and stuff.
Oh,
As
that's
a kid,
cool.
I never learned how to do much of anything with Wire Mod because it seemed really complicated. But here, Gunslinger Pro
Me
flexes
neither.
his knowledge of it to show us how to make a mounted turret you can control with your mouse, complete with demonstration pictures starring his, I guess you could say, engineer Sona. This mouse controlled turret is actually a pretty cool creation, even now in my opinion. And I like that just like in
that's
the
cool.
channel's earlier Ragdoll Walker tutorial, Gunslinger Pro is teaching us some actual esoteric Gmod knowledge here. It really helps add to this ARG's air of authenticity. I was in the middle of editing this video and realized that I forgot to mention that in a short part of the video where Gunslinger teaches the viewer how to install WireMod, we see a file directory that reveals his Steam username as BloodGulch97. Some people think this was the ARG creator accidentally exposing his real identity, but it isn't. The BloodGulch97 Steam account that people are linking to him isn't his, and as far as I know, nobody has uncovered his actual real identity. However, just like the sled video that ends with the heavy ragdoll breaking loose and getting choked, there's something very weird going on here. After Gunslinger hooks his wire mod gun up to a war machine he's built, he begins going on a rampage with it. Strangely though, rather than targeting enemy NPCs like zombies or Combine soldiers, he's instead firing down on and destroying a village full of rebels and citizens, friendly NPCs. And maybe even more peculiar,
Friendly
some
NPCs.
do genuinely react to him as though he's an enemy. They fire back at him, which they never do in actual Garry's Mod, and they even duck and scream in fear, which is also out of the ordinary. And finally, at the end, we catch a glimpse of a female medic NPC, who seemingly sabotages his vehicle by blowing it up with an explosive barrel, killing him and herself in the process. The kamikaze female medic also appears to have some kind of augmentation on her eye, and her arm looks a little strange too. I think that this video is pretty clearly meant to hint at us that the NPCs in Gunslinger's game are far more competent and sentient than they're supposed to be, just like the ragdolls are. And now they're rebelling too. It begs even more questions about the nature of Gunslinger's game and how aware he is of these characters' mortal anguish. In the last few frames, we can see that right after being killed, Gunslinger respawns and starts to quickly no-clip out of the map, which makes you wonder what his next move will be after being attacked by one of his underlings. There's actually one other thing about this video though. That strange noise that plays right as Gunslinger's tank explodes.
Weird.
If you run this audio through a spectrograph editor, it turns out to be a hidden message that reveals a
Oh, I love when they do that.
video on Gunslinger's channel. That's right. To everyone who has spent the last 2 years telling me, actually, these aren't ARGs because there's no secrets or audience involvement. Well, now there's secrets and audience involvement. So, shut up. Just kidding, I love you. Anywho, the secret unlisted video in question is called HL2 2010 1103 1912 2049, and it's only about 43 seconds long. The naming convention of this video mirrors that of the one that showed the blue spy monster trying to escape, and it also leaves us with 2 dates to compare. We can tell from that in the series canon, these 2 videos take place about 9 days apart. We can also assume from its screwed up title that, just like the spy escape video, it's not something that the player actually intended to upload. Let's have a quick look.
Okay, that's his tank. And there he is. No. What's that? What was that?
video starts off with a shot that Gunslinger
Nice.
posed for that WireMod tutorial video, before cutting to a video feed that seems to show a blue medic dragging a female medic character around before hoisting her up using some kind of rope mechanism. The female medic appears to be the same one that we just saw blow up Gunslinger in the last video.
Dang.
However, she doesn't seem to have any of her augmentations. It seems like
Yet.
whatever was going on in the last video, the same blue medic from the Spy Escape video was somehow involved. Based on what we're seeing here, I'd say this is probably hinting that he's the one responsible for the female medic's augmentations, and probably coordinating that attack against Gunslinger as well. This split-second shot of Gunslinger no clipping around after he respawns hints that the blue medic better be on the lookout going forward though. Who knows what'll happen to him if Gunslinger gets his hands on him. As for what it all means, I guess this whole thing
I want to see what the spy looks like.
are using the HL2 character NPCs as soldiers against Gunslinger. Like it's a big ragdoll revolution or something? I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell with so little information. There's one more spectrograph message hidden in this video as well. It seems to be some kind of text printed into the in-game console regarding the skybox.
I'll show you a ragdoll revolution. Ow.
But no one I know seems to have any idea what the hell it means. And unfortunately, this secret upload is pretty much where the Gunslinger Pro 2009 ARG has last left off. Though there's technically another video titled Sniper's Book re-upload that got posted just 5 months ago. It's a re-upload of a previous video on the channel that was at some point deleted, but it's actually not a re-upload. It's a remake with slight differences, such as a different model for the book, Heavy swaying gently as if he's holding a pose, and the player's tool gun coming out at the end. There's been a lot of speculation as to why this video got remade, but unfortunately the answer is kinda lame. A long time ago I did a stream where I bitched about how the TF2 book model used in the original video comes from TF2's 2013 Halloween update, even though Gunslinger Pro 2009 is supposed to take place in 2010. Me pointing out this small continuity error made its way to the creator of the ARG, and in order to fix it he made a new version of the video using the Half-Life 2 book prop and took down the old one. Honestly, it's kinda admirable how dedicated he is to the bit. I doubt very many people cared or even knew about a detail
Dang.
that small, and he still went out of his way to correct it. He's a real artisan. Anyways, Gunslinger has always been an ARG that uploaded sparingly, but these more recent uploads show that it's very much still going, and still has much more to offer in terms of mystery and nostalgia. But there's another ARG channel that's uploaded a lot more than Gunslinger since I last looked at it, and it's one that's arguably more popular. So why don't we have a look at what's been going on with Badwater Videos 2009. Badwater Videos 2009 is a Gmod ARG that popped up a little bit after Gunslinger Pro that made use of its same living ragdolls premise. But through the addition of new original characters and some cute animations, it built an identity of its own, and seems to actually be more popular than the series that inspired it. The first time I
Let's
covered
go,
this channel,
building
it only had
identities of
60
its own.
subscribers, so it's a bit wild to see how much of a cultural phenomenon it's gone on to become, and all the cool fan art it's inspired. The plot is, as mentioned, very similar to that of Gunslinger Pro. There's a maniacal Kleiner player character making
Gunslinger
millions of
Pro.
little ragdolls in his YouTube animations. However, in Badwater, the animations are a much more focal point of the series, and there's even in-universe characters with actually
Oh.
given names.
What
There's
the-
a good guy superhero named Melon Man, a friendly red engineer
Melon
and scout
Man.
that assist him, a freaky supervillain monster named the Teethanier, an evil mad doctor called Dr. Metalhead, and a few other secondary characters like the Piter. Even subtracting the spooky context, the little Gmod animations that get posted to the Badwater channel from time to time are actually pretty entertaining on their own. Most of the actual ARG has followed the perspective of the Red Scout character as he's investigated these weird white doors. They're apparently how Badwater traverses between maps in his weird haunted version of the game. This curiosity and disobedience has led to the Scout getting captured time and time again, and eventually tortured in the dark room in a pretty gruesome way. The last video I covered from Badwater was Metalhead's final straw, wherein the Teethanier once more fails to take down Melon Man, and the last scene shows Metalhead deciding to take his issue with Melon Man into his own hands. It sets up the next animation video to be a big showdown between the two. However, since my last time covering Badwater, they've uploaded 3 new videos, the first being Revelation. This video starts out as basically a recap of the series, but it also spells out pretty clearly that not every scout we've been following throughout the ARG is the same scout, which actually makes the series make a lot more sense now that I think about it. I'd assume the reveal that there are multiple scouts is the revelation that the video title speaks of. It's also revealed
Let's
that a blue
go.
engineer and red demo man were complicit in at least one of these scouts' escapes, as we see them picking up a scout's semi-unconscious body and carrying them through the white void. We don't get a look at their face, but I'd assume that these are actually Melon Man and Teethanier hauling them to safety. We then assume the perspective of a red scout walking out of the white void into GM Construct,
You're gonna
then heading
die!
into the map's dark room and coming across this. This appears to be the aftermath of the scout who we saw get brutally tortured in the
Oh,
chambers
poor
subjugate
scout.
video. Cut apart and conjoined with random props,
Excuse me.
fingers broken, bloody in the face, and all but dead. Our scout looks on at the unsettling, mangled version of himself before using the tool gun on the table in front of him to delete the torture victim, putting him out of his misery. I think this
Thought that was just a regular gun.
tool gun is a bigger deal than it seems, though. It spells some interesting questions about what could happen next. Could this tool gun potentially be used to help him finally escape or even defeat Badwater? The horrors of
I
Gmod
thought that was just a
ragdoll
gun.
duplication get explored even further.
Just
in the
looks
next
like a gun. There's no
Punishment. In this video, we
like
follow
thing
the
on it.
perspective of a scout on Sawmill who gets popped in the head by Badwater's 357. Then we resume the perspective of another scout right after he spawned in by Badwater, immediately getting stuck to the wall and shot with crossbow bolts. Then
Ouch.
a scout being crushed by a washing machine. Then we see a scout with his legs sawed off right in front of him. A
Ugh.
scout getting hit with a shotgun blast. A scout plummeting to his death. A scout impaled on a harpoon. A scout being burnt to death. Then finally, for the first time in the series, Badwater speaks. In a dramatic in-game chat monologue,
Push him
he
off. Push
writes,
him off.
It will never be enough. No matter how much you suffer, it will never be enough. I'm not going to let you take this from me.
We see one last scout meet his demise. As he plummets from a hanging rope and slowly chokes, his body swings around, and he looks out to see a field full of all of his own clones. You know, the idea of
Jeez.
finding your own dead body, or a dead body of your clone.
Dead
and see a
bodies.
giant field full of them. It's something I hadn't thought about until I saw these two videos. I guess that would be some pretty freaky shit. Badwater's monologue pretty clearly paints an image of him as a reckless psychopath taking out some kind of anger on these poor scout clones. But the phrase, "I'm not going to let you take this from me," is peculiar. It implies that Badwater feels like the scout is responsible for some kind of wrongdoing. Maybe he feels threatened by his attempts at escape, because the ragdolls getting away would mean he can't use them for his YouTube animation career anymore. Or maybe he just got
Yo.
blasted off a cliff with the force of nature on Hightower one too many times and has a real hard-on against the class. I don't know. I'm not normally very critical
Maybe.
of these
I
ARGs
don't know.
on this channel, but this video does kind of exemplify something I've started to dislike about Badwater Videos 2009. While it's very creative and there are a lot of great ideas
Melon.
clearly executed with passion, the horror itself is much less subtle than Gunslinger Pro and is at times a bit ham-fisted. This in-game chat monologue is really cheesy, and the gore here is a little too in your face for my liking. It just doesn't leave much to the imagination is all.
You have my permission to die.
Anyways, there's one more video Badwater has released, and it's a trailer for the next Melon Man episode.
Melon Man.
Melon Man versus Metalhead. This one's only about a minute long, so I'll let it play. It's pretty charming.
A hero rises. Save us, Melon Man! Kaboom! Oh no. He needs help from his friends. Why am I doing this? That's a face only a mother could love. I am his mother. Ooh. Villain Falls. Coming soon.
Looks like in this next animation, Melon Man will be working with his engineer and scout buddies against Metalhead's team, including the Teethanier and a new sniper monster character we saw teased back in an old video. I'm actually a bit excited to see what this video turns out to be because the description hypes it up as a really big deal. Until the actual video comes out though, there's not a terrible amount to say about where this is all leading. Badwater is torturing scouts and making videos, but we already kind of knew that. It's just more
Middleman.
clear now that he's outright evil. I guess everything is riding on what that scout decides to do with his tool gun. There is another ARG I've covered, however, that has suddenly received a massive surge of activity, and in the last month alone has put out more videos than Badwater and Gunslinger combined. I'm talking, of course, about classic GM videos.
Yo. Just classic Gmod videos. I love them.
Classic GM Videos is one of my favorite ARGs. It's presented as an archive of someone's old Gmod
Money,
channel,
money, money,
but among
money.
the catalog of cool nostalgic videos are some very strange and sometimes genuinely startling clips. The series is one of many ARGs that makes use of a Hero Brian-esque shadow figure who stalks the player from a distance, but in my opinion it's handled very tastefully. And beyond that, the channel's non-spooky videos are very charming on their own. Classic GM Videos is also responsible for naming and introducing the world to the ethereal
Oh, I think I remember this one.
Too Cool Sad area. The channel features skits starring G-Man, a machinima series revolving around two roommates named Bob and Bill, and a ton of other miscellaneous Gmod and Half-Life 2 clips. But it's also housing something much more sinister as well. Some of the videos are marked in their description as having never been uploaded to YouTube prior to this channel's supposed archival of them. And it's in these videos that the series' paranormal edge emerges. From what we've learned, it seems like the player's Source Engine games are in some way haunted. We see maps change in strange and downright creepy ways, radios in odd spots spewing cryptic number sequences, and in one of the channel's deleted videos, the player even gets terrorized by some kind of burning skeleton apparition. Based on various video descriptions, the player seems to be getting help from a Steam friend named Skizzymeister, who's been feeding them ideas on how to uncover more of the mystery. However, it's unclear and maybe even slightly suspicious how Skizzy knows so much about how to interact with these apparitions. And the protagonist seems more than a little spooked and hesitant about pushing his luck any further with them. B3 was the last video we covered, and it featured a scene that almost seemed to be implying that the shadow figure and the player himself are one and the same. In the months immediately
One and
following
the
my
same.
video on them, they uploaded 5 videos
What?
that I never got around to covering. The first one was called Bob and Bill Minis 2, Breen's Recovery. This is just a cute short machinima showing Dr. Breen sick in the Citadel after being pranked by Bob and Bill in one of the previous episodes. The second upload, a Halloween special called
Dang.
G-Man Can't Sleep. It's a skit where G-Man drives home late one night, then crashes on his couch but is awoken by screams and other strange noises in the distance. He goes outside to check what it was, but he doesn't find anything. When he goes back into his house, however, a strange figure appears in the corner of his room. It's a shirtless Combine soldier, and it causes G-Man to run out to his car and drive away in fear. The spooky shirtless figure follows G-Man all the way to a warehouse on the outskirts of the town, and right as the two begin to fight, we get text reading "To be continued," and the machinima abruptly ends. The video is more engaging than it has any right to be honest.
Dang.
After that came a video called Half-Life 2 New Secret Enemy Found and Flying Tutorial, where the player shows off how they no-clipped and came across the Ichthyosaur NPC you briefly see at the start of Half-Life 2 out of bounds. It's set to an Avenged Sevenfold song, and the description reads, "Cool new stuff Skizzy found with a cheat mode in Half-Life 2, uploaded
That's
from him."
cool.
There's also a minute-long clip called Car Test, where the player briefly shows off a vehicle he made, which ends with him running and looking around all paranoid-like. And then finally, there was Half-Life 2 Ragdoll Dance Bug, a short clip with no audio that shows a zombie ragdoll freaking out after getting pinned to the wall with a crossbow. After this, the channel went dormant for almost 2 entire years.
2 entire
About a month
years?
ago, they suddenly came back and uploaded 12 new videos. For almost 2 weeks straight, they were uploading on the daily. And these are actually some of the most interesting uploads on the entire channel, in my opinion. The first video was called Creepy Half-Life 2 Glitch. As is both told through text on screen and shown in the footage,
I feel like
players
they
encounter a
planned
really
that
weird bug in their copy of
probably
Half-Life 2, where all of the NPCs
since
are
like 2
completely
years
silent
ago.
and don't say anything
They just had a
until
lot of
dialogue.
videos
Instead, just
planned
sitting
they
there
wanted to
standing
release
silently.
back to back
Perhaps
to back.
worse, they all turn their heads to stare directly at the player no matter where he stands on the map. It's actually pretty unsettling, especially with the music choice. What's shown in this video is probably
I don't like
not
it.
a real glitch. At least it's not one I've ever seen or heard of in all my years playing Half-Life 2. More than likely, this is yet another anomaly caused by whatever is haunting the player's computer. The fact that they all stare at the player almost implies some kind of guilt, as if the player is being silently judged for something we the audience don't know about. It's odd. The second upload was called Clip 3, and it shows even more footage of this silent, staring NPCs bug. Without the music, it's actually even more creepy. I especially
Oh,
don't
this is
like
what
the
you
short
get for
bit where the
pirating
player
Half-Life
turns
2.
back into a doorway and sees a citizen on the couch laser focused locking eyes with him. If I ever ran into a bug like this as a kid, it would have scared the shit out of me. After Clip 3 came a video called
I like how it's
G-Man's Other Day Out,
480p
a
to make
successor
it
one of
feel
the
more
channel's infamous
realistic.
earlier videos, G-Man's Day Out. The description reads, G-Man's bad luck strikes
Because
again.
everybody
The video follows
had
G-Man as he realizes
sucky
his
Wi-Fi
fridge is
and
empty embarks on a journey to some kind of food shop.
graphics.
Unfortunately for him, the line is dreadfully long, and once he finally makes it to the front, all the watermelons have already been taken. And all that time he
No!
spent waiting in line was for nothing, sends G-Man into a rage. And when on the way out he spots another customer holding his own watermelon, G-Man sprints into a chase after him. However, exiting the building, G-Man loses track of the man, and falls to his knees in a miserable defeat. Poor guy. This also mirrors the plot of the last G-Man's Day Out video, where G-Man goes up to a watermelon stand by Dr. Kleiner, but gets refused service and destroys the stand in a rage. My guy is just not having any luck with these watermelon shops. The next upload, Half-Life 2 Hidden Zombie, shows the player shoot an SMG grenade into the air
Zombie?
at a certain stop in the canals and killing
What
an
the-
out-of-bounds zombie with it. Now, there is another spot like this in the canals where you can kill an out-of-bounds Combine soldier, but as far as I can tell, this hidden zombie shown in this 20-second video doesn't actually exist, which is peculiar. I guess what we see in this video is just one more subtle anomaly with Classic GM Video's version of Half-Life 2. Speaking of anomalies, the next video, Route, is one of the strangest uploads on the entire channel. It shows the player exploring some weird dark map with winding narrow hallways. I think this might be the same map we saw back in the Kleiners Challenge videos, but I'm not really sure. Eventually the player heads through a door and comes across this really strange cylindrical thing, flickering through various distorted images and bringing the video's frame rate to an absolute crawl. At one moment, what appears to be a face becomes visible, and the video ends with the player closing the game. The description of this one reads, "It was
That
the
looks
right
like me.
path. I said this was a bad idea from the start. I don't want to open the game again."
Could be me.
Once again, the player seems to be telling Skizzy that he's too scared to further investigate these anomalies. And to be honest,
I don't like
there's
it.
another G-Man skit called Moving Day Again, with the description reading, "G-Man decides that it is time for a change again. The town is sad to see him go, but who knows what adventures he might have in his new hometown." As suggested, the video was kind of bittersweet, as G-Man sits in his house reminiscing on time spent
Did you get
in his
water?
town,
Did you get
with
watermelons?
Kleiner, before packing his bags and driving off as his old friends wave him goodbye. In the end, though, G-Man is relieved to finally unpack at his new
Watermelon?
house and crash on the couch. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this is actually probably one of the more earnestly relatable videos this channel has posted. I've never broken a watermelon stand or fist fought a creepy shirtless guy in a warehouse, but this? Running a guy over because you're so pissed off about moving house? Now that's a real human emotion there. That's relatable.
Yeah.
After Moving Day Again, the channel uploaded what appears to be a pretty much unedited 9-minute playthrough of an old custom Half-Life 2 map called House of Horrors. And from what I can tell, there's nothing discernibly weird or off about it other than it being a spooky horror map. After that came a
Watermelon?
similarly uneventful video, a slideshow storyboard of a citizen using a Metrocop disguise to infiltrate and blow up a Combine base on GM
Let's
Construct.
go.
It's kind of cute though. I like the use of the Metal Gear soundtrack. Entering the latest 3 videos on the channel, however, is where things start to get a little strange again. In Half-Life 2 New Creepy Easter Egg in Ravenholm, the player boosts their way out of bounds and finds a hidden radio. And just like the hidden zombie from earlier, if you boot up Half-Life 2 right now and look, you'll see that this is not actually there in the real game. The last time the player found a radio in this series was in the video Half-Life 2 Nova Prospect Weird Creepy Hidden Area, and a later video showed them bringing it to a dark corner of the map where it suddenly started emitting the coordinates to the dark room in GM Construct. However, the player ends this video by saying he has no idea where to take this one, and asks the commenters for ideas. But wait, isn't this the kind of thing you should be asking Skizzymeister? What happened to him? Did he finally scare the uploader off? Well, the next video, Combine vs. Rebels vs. Antlions vs. Zombies, has a description implying that it was made by Skizzy. So I'm not really sure what the next
Skizzy,
video's relationship
what's
is.
going on?
That video isn't much special either, by the way. It's just a big NPC showdown set to some old punk music. The Combine win in the end. Another video marked
Combine
as has
win,
been
yes,
uploaded. This
yo.
4-minute video called Checking consists of nothing but the player looking around all over GM Construct. It seems he's paranoid, looking for the dark figure that's been stalking him or any other sign of paranormal activity. He even looks in the pond, which was previously established in the Pond Abyss video to sometimes distort to become endlessly deep, and even crash the player's game if they swam too deep into it. However,
Pond
this
Abyss?
time there doesn't seem to be anything there. There's nothing in this video other than the player's frantic behavior and the sound of those good old-fashioned Gmod 9 footsteps. The description reads, "I couldn't find anything." That finally brings us to the latest video on the channel, Zombie Bowling Test. It's a short 30-second clip of the player trying to use a downward ramp and a ball to kill a zombie, with little success. Eventually he drops the ball at an odd angle and it completely falls off of the ramp, and in the last second of the video we see a dark mass start emerging from the lake. It seems like just when the player got comfortable
Jesus.
hanging out in Gmod again, the paranormal stuff immediately kicked back in. This is the first time the black figure has been seen in this series in 3 entire years, by the way.
Look.
The last time being in the video KC2 trailer Broken. Knowing how Classic GM Videos operates, I'm sure in a couple months we'll get another carpet bombing of daily uploads, and hopefully they'll reveal
Yeah.
more clues as to what's going on with the player's game, and what the hell is up with that weird cylindrical face thing in the route video. Until then, however, that's about it for Classic GM Videos. Fuck, they uploaded a video while I was rendering this
Language.
video. It's nothing special though, it's just a skit where 2 Metro cops get knocked out by a ninja guy. Then when they wake up, they're not wearing their suits anymore and they get accosted by other Combine. A taste of their own medicine. Before I wrap this up though, I do want to give mention to one more lesser known channel called Gmod Guy 2006. Generic channel name aside, Gmod Guy is an ARG that's been on my radar and that I've been interested in for a long time. It popped up around the same time I was covering Gunslinger, but there was never really enough content or enough of a coherent story for me to bother making a full video on it. Among the videos on the channel are a tutorial on how to make a catapult in Gmod 9, a broken machinima called G-Man's Adventure, and a zombie massacre done with the help of a cool propeller mounted car.
I would do
All
that.
pretty standard run-of-the-mill Gmod ARG stuff. But there's also a creepy video where the player enters the dark room, then tries to leave, only to find that the rest of the map has gone dark now too. There's a video where the player explores the office map on Counter-Strike Source, before discovering a creepy new hallway that seemingly crashes the game. And then finally a video called Gates, where the player goes back into the dark room to make Construct black out again, only this time they actually wander out into the corrupted world and somehow find themselves near some kind of barred entryway with a payphone next to it. After this cryptic upload, the channel went radio silent for 2 entire years. But 1 month ago, literally one day after Classic GM Videos made their return, Gmod Guy 2006 came back with a new video called Gates 2 that shows them exploring more of that creepy dark room world. It gets really bizarre. The player, whose username is shown to be Beaver2006,
Beaver!
walking along a checkerboard path before coming across a door emitting an ominous flashing red light. Behind the door is a radio playing a song by Elvis of all people called You're the Devil in Disguise.
Please
Beaver
don't say
approaches
it.
then turns around as the door closes and locks behind them. They bash the door with a crowbar for a while before turning around once more to find that the radio has disappeared and that there's now
There's a
a
hole.
giant bottomless pit in its place.
Jump in
Beaver
it.
goes to close their game, but a Windows error sound plays. And given no other choice, they jump down the pit as the video distorts and ends. I'm gonna be real, I have no idea where this one is going, or what to read from the use of that Elvis song, but since this is one of the more eccentric and interesting Gmod ARGs out there that I never got
You know,
around
it's
to covering,
fine,
and
it's
since
just
it came back out at
computer.
the same time as everyone else, I figured it at least deserved a mention.
Just
and
delete
there's
the
one
app.
last big project that's popped up that a lot of people have been asking me to do a video on for months now, called Interloper. There's only one problem. This shit
Interloper.
is fucking long, so I'm probably gonna have to dedicate
20
a full video
minutes.
to that one. It'll be a fun one. Anyways, to answer the question begged in the title, why are Gmod ARGs coming back? Well, to be honest with you, it seems like the creators are probably just all getting inspired again at around the same time. From what I can tell, Badwater was the first one to have a grand return, and the other creators have taken that as an opportunity to follow suit and bring their project back too. However, there are a few things that make me think there might be some funny business going on. The fact that Gunslinger Pro and Badwater Videos both seem to be heading toward a Ragdoll Rebellion arc and some kind of ultimate showdown between the player and their playthings is kind of interesting. And the timing of Classic GM Videos and Gmod Guy 2006 both returning a day apart, now that is suspicious. Gmod Guy 2006's zombie-based video is also very similar to Classic GM Video's Zombie Killer upload. So, in my opinion, the two ARGs are either connected, or Gmod Guy is a game jacker. Unfortunately, Classic GM Videos is pretty much the only ARG I've covered that I haven't spoken to the creator of before, so I can't tell you which is the case for certain. Who knows though, maybe Gmod Guy is Skizzymeister or something. Anywho, I'm not sure how much more public interest there is in these old Gmod ARG projects, but I personally have always found them really fun to keep up with, and I figured it was worth talking about them at least one more time. I just wish it wasn't the case that so many of them riff off the same exact ideas and premises. Regardless though, make sure to go check out each of these channels I covered if you get a chance. They'll all be linked in the description below. Also in the description will be the link to my Discord server. I know it's kind of a mess right now, but pretty soon I'm gonna have a Gmod server
What is
up that
this?
we're gonna host game nights on in there, and it's gonna be really fun.
What's the
so
light?
you're not gonna want to miss that. You're gonna join. That's all for today, though. Thanks for watching.
Okay, I am Skibbity, I'm Skibbity, I'm Skibbity.
Oh,
I don't chase
forgot.
level 5 Gyat.
Fucking skibbity toilet thing. Ugh. The Zambi episode. This is cool. Not gonna watch it because of how long it is, but still, that one's pretty cool. Dr. Phil.
Taken things away. I've had my nose broken 3 times.
What?
What do I do to stop it? I've taken things away. I've had my nose broken 3 times.
Huh?
A lot of y'all ask me why I don't.
37 hours?
Welcome to the Star Wars galaxy. Here you can see planets from Coruscant down to Kamino, each siding with one of the main factions at war, the Republic and the Separatists.
Hold on, what's the longest?
Commanders lead their respective sides. Commander Rooster controls the Republic, while the evil
I don't want to know how long that took to upload. 9 days. He died.
I'm about to plug in this fan to test whether blowing on this sail will move the boat forward. And then I'm flying 4,000 miles to the equator, where I'm actually standing in both the northern and southern hemispheres, because this line here is the equator. And I'm here to investigate.
Isn't there like
whether or not this
no
demo
air
for
when
tourists is
you do that?
actually a scam. Basically, they pour water in this basin, and on the north side of the equator, it seems to swirl and drain counterclockwise. But just a few feet away in the southern hemisphere, the water seems to drain in the exact opposite direction. It's sort of like how you also might have heard toilets flush in opposite directions on different sides of the equator, and we're here to uncover the truth. But I'm not stopping there, because today we're going to investigate 6 other physics and engineering puzzles using simple demonstrations as we go, because our goal by the end of this video is for you not just to know the right answers, but more importantly for you to understand why they're the right answers. To kick things off, speaking of hemispheres, did you know the moon in the sky looks like this in the northern hemisphere, like in Canada, but it looks like this in the southern hemisphere, like in Australia?
Now that makes sense.
Upside down. And while that is a fun fact, it's even more fun to understand.
That makes
why,
sense.
And this is why. As we
Everything
all
in
know,
Australia is
the
upside
Earth
down.
is a sphere. So if you were Superman standing at the North Pole in the northern hemisphere, you'd look like this. But if you were Thor standing in the southern hemisphere in Antarctica, you'd look like this. Now, of course, the moon over here orbits around the Earth like this. And I'm going to add an arrow to it to help us with orientation. And so to Superman at the North Pole, that arrow would point up. But from the perspective of Thor at the South Pole, that arrow would point down from his perspective. And now I know what you're thinking. If all
Yes.
that's true, then which way would the arrow point if you're Spider-Man standing here at the equator? Well, according to our model here, it should be sideways. And sure enough, here in Ecuador at the equator, I'm happy to report that the moon does in fact appear to be sideways.
Sideways.
In fact,
He
to
went
the
all the
side,
way to
if you just
Ecuador
stick
for
2
that.
pins into some cardboard like this, and then connect them with the string and
I mean,
trace
that's-
it out, you get my
Well, I'm gonna click on the
would be
video
my
so you guys
favorite
can watch it.
geometric shape, an ellipse. But there's something really special about these 2 pinholes. They're called the focus points, and any straight line you shoot out in any direction from one of the points will bounce off the wall of the ellipse and always hit the other focus point. And here's
Yeah.
proof, because I've got a laser pointer at one focus point, a ball of wax at the other, and a mirrored surface all along the interior wall. And now you can see no matter which way I point the laser, it always
Getting
bounces
smoky.
off and lights up the wax.
Oh wait, I
Here's
need
the
smoke
really
for it
cool
to
part. If
show.
you build an actual full-size room in the shape of an ellipse, and then you stand at one focus point, you can hear even the faintest whisper from anyone standing at the other focus point, even hundreds of feet away, because all the sound waves bounce right back to your ears. In fact, this actual ellipse-shaped room was built by John Quincy Adams in the US Capitol building. And legend has it, he was a master at anticipating the moves of his opponents plotting against him on the opposite side of the large hall. And now that you know the physics involved, it should come as no surprise that John Quincy Adams conveniently placed his desk right on top of this leftmost focus point. Next up at number 3, everyone knows when you slam on the accelerator pedal in a car, the stuff inside slides backward, and then when you slam on the brakes, the stuff inside just keeps moving forward. Including you, by the way, which is why we wear seatbelts. So then why
That's
the heck,
cool.
when I'm driving to the birthday party and I have to slam on the brakes, does the cake slide forward, but the balloons actually move backwards?
Let's
As
wait.
for the cake sliding forward, well, that's just Newton's first law in action, which basically says all stuff is kind of lazy and wants to stay still unless a force comes in and tries to move things. And then Newton's second law tells us that the more you weigh and the more mass you have, the more force is required to even get you to move. But here's the thing we sometimes forget. The air around us is a fluid, and it also has mass.
Fluid?
It weighs something. This is why air pressure is a thing. There's tons of air molecules stacked up above us, and they each weigh just a tiny bit.
Get
So
them
we are
away
like
from
at
me,
the
not me.
bottom of this air molecule dog pile. This is why your chip bag expands when you head up to the mountains. It's because it's moved up the dog pile. Now there's less air above it, weighing down, pushing in on all sides. And for a little proof, here's a simple demonstration that the air molecules around us do actually weigh something. When I throw this balloon at the sign, it moves, but it doesn't quite knock it over.
Uh-huh.
All I'm gonna do is take that exact same balloon and just add air. That's it. Everything else is identical and unchanged.
It's gonna move
and
it.
Yet now, it bonks the sign over. So that means we increase the mass only by adding some extra air. Because again, Newton's second law states, the heavier, the more massive a thing is, better it is at bonking things over.
Yep.
So in the car, when you slam on the brakes, it's not just the stuff in the back that has mass that wants to keep moving, but all that invisible air does too. So when I slam on the brakes, the air itself also sloshes forward. And since that air is more dense than the helium gas in the balloon, the lightweight balloon gets forced backwards. And that's what we'd expect, right? We say a helium balloon floats in air, or this ping pong ball floats in water, but it's almost more like the heavier, more dense thing, in this case the water, rudely cuts to the front of the line, forcing the poor ping pong ball up and out of the way. In fact, you can
Very
see
smart.
if you lay this jar on its side, the same thing happens as in the car. When I give the jar a push, the water sloshes back, which forces the less dense ping pong ball forward, and then when it stops, the dense heavy water sloshes forward, forcing the ping pong ball back. Then for number 4, we're back here on the
Yes.
lake to figure out if sailboats move by having wind blow in their sails, why don't they just get a big old fan like this to power them through the water? Sort of like the guy in this viral video who's using a leaf blower, pointing into an umbrella to scoot his way around on a skateboard. Well, let's think this through with a simple demo of a fan that's attached to this train car. When I turn the fan on and it blows air to the right, which way will the car go? Well, of course it goes to the left, because it's basically cutting through the air and pushing it backwards, which creates an equal and opposite reaction that pushes the train forward, just like an airplane propeller pushing
Yes.
air backwards moves the plane forward. It's no different than me standing on this skateboard, and when I push watermelons to the left, they push back on me, so I roll to the right.
Why would you do that?
Again? And so now let's place a brick here so this car can't move, and then add a second cart here with a sail. Now when I turn the fan on, which way will this cart move? Of course the
Forward.
right, because all that fast-moving air hits the
No, it's to
sail.
the left.
It's like it's being bonked
Your camera's
by
mirrored.
a little watermelon. So if we now remove the brick, and this cart wants to move to the left, and then this one wants to move to the right, what'll happen when we connect them?
Oh, nothing.
It's a perfectly timed tug-of-war, with each cart trying to move in opposite directions with the same amount of force. A fan actually sort of does work to move a boat forward. You just have to lose the sail and point it the other way.
Yep.
But at that point, you might as well just take that same fan
And then
stick
put it in the water.
underneath the boat, so you can much more effectively push against the heavy water instead of just air, which is of course exactly what a boat propeller does.
Yes.
And sure enough, when I plug it in real life, as you can see, I don't go anywhere. So then if we've totally debunked the idea of blowing your own sail, then what about that guy with the leaf blower and umbrella on the skateboard? Well, I've copied his exact same setup here, and I can confirm it actually does work. It just has nothing to do with the umbrella or the leaf blower, and everything to do with the fact that this is an electric skateboard with the battery stored right under here, exactly the same as you can see in a bunch of these shots. Now,
Oh.
before we get to the last 3, including answering if this demo for tourists is a scam, if you're like me and you love that aha moment when you learn something
Mr. Beast.
new, well, I got great news for you.
Let me guess. Crunch Labs?
Glad you said it, Jimmy. That's right. Because packaging up that moment is why I created Crunch Labs, where you get a super fun toy every month in the mail that comes with a video where I teach you all the juicy physics that make the toy work.
Mark won't say this himself, but obviously he used to work at NASA and Apple. He's one of the greatest engineers you can ever find. And he's specifically designing these boxes to teach you all the stuff he learned. He had this water gun that we made, and you can flip a switch when you give it to someone else, and it shoots back at you. I mean, that's awesome.
I've pranked you a couple times with the boxes, Jimmy.
I know.
So if you want to prank Mr. Beast while experiencing a bunch of those lovely aha moments at the same time, just visit crunchlabs.com to learn more. Now coming in
Cool
at
what
number
he's doing with
5
kids.
is the craziest fact I know. Imagine
Not that way.
I just finished
No.
tying this
No.
rope all the way around the world. But now I just found out it was supposed to be a foot off the ground the whole way around. So the question is, how much more extra rope would I need to buy to add to this rope to make that happen? Now you might be thinking double or even triple this amount, but what if I told you you only need this much extra rope? 6.28 feet to be exact. Think about that. The circumference of the Earth is 131 million feet, and yet you only need this much extra rope to lift the whole thing a foot off the ground all the way around. And what's even crazier is if you did this around a basketball, it would be the exact same amount of extra rope. Now the math is just some straightforward 8th grade algebra, and you can see here, because the radius cancels out, it doesn't matter what size circle you use. It always works out to 2 pi, or about 6.28 feet of extra rope. But if math isn't your thing, don't worry, because if you just pretend the Earth is a square, it will immediately be obvious why the size of the object doesn't matter. So if this is my initial rope, when I raise it off the Earth by 1 foot, you can see in each corner, I only need 2 extra feet, so 8 feet total. And just like with a basketball, you'd still get the same answer if you tried it on a smaller 4-sided shape like your TV, which is pretty close to the 6.28 extra feet needed for a circle. At number 6, there was a Kickstarter a while back that claimed to have invented a floating backpack that reduced impact forces by 86%.
Welcome to
work?
the future of backpacking. You've never seen a backpack that moves like this, or that lets you move like this. And this motion isn't just for show. By suspending the load, Hoverglide reduces impact forces by 80 to 90%.
I really took an interest once I noticed a lot of people in the comment section were debating whether or not this would actually help. So what do you think? Is this a scam? The case for it not being a scam is that when you wear a normal backpack, as you bounce up and down, with each step you take, you're working
This
against
is plug-in.
gravity as you move that entire weight up and down with you as well. Sort of like pulling this weight up and down with a stiff rope. But if the backpack was elastically suspended on a track, its own inertia would tend to keep it vertically in the same spot. So you could still bounce up and down while the pack wouldn't move. It would be like replacing that stiff rope with an elastic one, at which point you can see it makes it a lot easier on my arms moving up and down as the weight stays in place.
Yeah.
But the naysayers pointed out all the pulleys, cords, and extra frames to make the system work is still an extra 4 pounds of weight, and whether it's bouncing or not, you're still carrying 4 extra pounds to the top of the mountain. Plus, the video just shows the ideal use cases, and in real life, it probably wouldn't work that smoothly hiking over rough terrain. And I felt like both sides sort of had valid arguments. So as a firm believer in the scientific method, I ordered one myself and then went hiking for a few miles with the normal backpack, and then put the exact same amount of weight in the Hoverglide backpack to qualitatively compare the difference.
So far I don't like it. Feels like it's like rocking me back. Let me try jogging. Oh, that feels good. That's kind of the trick, I feel like. If you hit the right cadence, it's magical. If it's not the right cadence, it's the opposite of magical. Oh yeah, now it's... And then it gets out of sync, throws you literally off balance.
So my verdict is that on flat, predictable terrain, it can be beneficial. But on any sort of rough, sporadic hiking terrain, it's just not worth the extra weight and force from out of sync issues. And for our final science challenge, we're back here at the equator in Ecuador to see if this popular demonstration for tourists is actually a scam. Does the water really drain in opposite directions, even just a few feet on either side of the equator? And relatedly, do toilets also swirl in opposite directions in the northern versus southern hemisphere? Now for the toilets, let me just debunk that myth out of the gate. Because if you look closely, the swirl direction is just a function of which way the nozzles point, as you can see here, and with any toilets you inspect yourself. But what about sinks that have just a drain, like in the demo here, where there are no nozzles? Well, believe it or not, there's actually some truth to this idea because of something called the Coriolis effect. And it's the same reason you might have noticed weather patterns like this spinning counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere, in which case we call them hurricanes, and clockwise in the southern hemisphere, in which case we call them cyclones. And the reason for this is pretty straightforward to understand. If you imagine you have a very big sink that spans from the equator all the way up to the North Pole. In that case, a single drop of water in the sink at the equator here is going for a joyride really fast as the Earth spins. And a drop of water near the middle is moving at a medium speed. But a drop of water at the North Pole isn't moving at all because it's right on the axis. So now when you pull the plug on the sink and the water moves towards the middle, the drop here is suddenly moving laterally much faster than the slower water that was near the drain. So it gets out in front of the drain. And conversely, a drop here at the North Pole is laterally moving much slower than the water near the drain. So it falls behind. So when all the drops are affected this way, you naturally get a counterclockwise swirl, just like a hurricane, where the eye of the hurricane is the low pressure zone like a drain. And then of course, applying all the same logic to the southern hemisphere would naturally do the opposite, resulting in a clockwise swirl. So does this mean that sinks do in fact drain opposite in the northern and southern hemispheres? Well, sadly, no. because the Coriolis effect is really only noticeable the greater distance you're moving up or down from the equator. So unless you have a 5-mile wide sink, or if you make the most perfect of perfect conditions like my friends Destin and Derek showed,
the water is flowing clockwise due to the Earth's rotation.
The water's going counterclockwise because I'm in the northern hemisphere. It's real.
This effect is way too small to have any meaningful impact on the swirl directions of sinks and toilets, at which point it comes down to other factors like sink geometry, or the fact that the seemingly still water was actually still barely moving around when the plug was pulled. So then what about that tourist demo? Well, if you play it back and look closely, you can see at the end of his pour, he does this subtle twisting motion. So the water would just continue to swirl in the direction of the twist. So when he finishes the pour here, he twists this way, and the water continues swirling that way. And then after moving the sink allegedly over the equator, he finishes his pour twisting the opposite direction. And then the water swirls in that opposite direction. In fact, you can easily recreate this demo yourself at home to see that by copying this method, you can also easily get a whirlpool in both directions. And therefore, it should come as no surprise that when I ask this question,
Does it work even like if I pour the water?
I was denied the opportunity to test and observe. On top of all that, as the final nail in the coffin, if you actually look up the GPS coordinates of this place, it's more than a football field away from the official equator, which means we were actually in the southern hemisphere the whole time. So instead of actual science, this is just an attempt to take your money with nothing more than a lame magic trick, where the real magic is all that new juicy knowledge I just wirelessly transferred through that screen you're watching me on from my brain into yours. It's a new year, which means it's a great time to invest in that passion for learning. Because that passion is not only the main driver for why I make
What is this?
Good morning.
I'd say Poppy is pretty obsessed with me. Poppy had been neglected by the previous owner, who kept her in a cage. Since she was domesticated, she couldn't be released into the wild, so we adopted her to give her a better life. Poppy likes to think she's a good work-from-home partner, but I heavily disagree. What she wants, my attention.
Looks like a capybara.
Scratch at my neck, claw at my shoes that I'm wearing. She works her way up to your shoulder. Is your...
What's that, a dog?
And she'll steal my shirts. Some days she's very sweet, but she definitely has more knowledge.
Troublemaker.
Bobby, no! You put that down.
She may not be the best work-from-home partner, but she's definitely the best addition to our lives.
No, you don't understand. I think about you all the time. I can't get you out of my mind. I'm in love with you. I'm obsessed with you. Every moment I'm awake is spent thinking about you. Do you mean that? Yeah, I do. That's amazing. I feel the same way about you. Oh. You do? I just didn't want to say anything because I wasn't really sure if you felt the same way. That's kind of cringe, bro. What the fuck? Yeah, love and feelings and romantic gestures. That's all pretty cringe, don't you think? It's like, but you just told me that you love me. No. I like the idea of you. Let's get that straight. What the fuck is wrong?
What?
The image I've created of you in my mind is put on a pedestal, and it's something lofty, something that I'll never really achieve. But the second you're within my grasp, I'm going to start participating in what we like to call self-destructive behavior because I fucking hate myself. But you don't have to. I like you back. That's crazy. I don't like you anymore. No, you don't understand.
Damn. Something bad.
Hello everybody, my name is Markiplier and welcome
What
to
the?
Five Nights at
What is this? What is this? What is that? Oh boy. Oh my poor boy. Triple Chin Markiplier. Oh my goodness. Yeah, pretty good videos going out right now. Ooh, I gotta crick my neck. Ow. Excuse me. What is that? Okay. Um. Yeah. You know, I hate sand. It's coarse. It gets everywhere. Meh. Mm. LeBron Johamas. I don't know why I said that. LeBron James. You know, I just realized I've been streaming for 14 hours. Um, to paint it black. Black. I wanna see it. Okay. Excuse me. I see the girls walk by in the She's singing in my heart, in my head. Tell me why this has to end. Oh no. You know, I want my music to be heard, but not so much that I might get DMCA'd. Dave the Diver X Godzilla DLC. Never played Dave the Diver. If you're wondering why I'm cringing, I just saw Megamind 2 trailer on my For You page. Um... Um... Brain hurts. Do 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 do. Um. What the hell? Oh yeah, I know what a VHS is. Or I know what it means to rewind a VHS. I used to watch VHSs all the time. I think my dad had a few uh, movies on VHS. I don't even know if you're still here or not. The world has an ending. There's love sent to you. And send the love of a hero. And that's what I fear it won't do. This. Ooh. Back in the day, there was something better than VHSs that were kind of like VHSs, but they didn't sell as well as VHSs because VHSs, they sold porn. So everybody went to that because of that reason. What was it, like VHSs versus Betamax? See, Betamax had like better sound quality, but everybody picked. It had better sound quality, better resolution, and the tapes were smaller. But everybody picked VHSs because there were porn VHSs. And like there was a high bandwagon, but porn sells, right? What was it, like Betamax were cheaper to make too? Okay, they're generally more expensive than VHS machines. But still, it had better quality back then. But everybody bandwagoned onto VHSs. Don't even know if he's here. I don't want to press that one because it's copyrighted music. But... Huh? What is going on with... What is going on with Tekken 8? That's so weird. Let your nuts... What? Huh? Yeah, Sneeko is clinically insane. Oh! The Warhammer 40k update is out for Modern Warfare 3. Or is it not yet out? I don't know. March 6th. Huh. What's going on here? Ah! What did I do? Huh? Ugh.
He forces himself. Yeah, I can tell. I can tell. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this.
Audio junk.
Make it stop! I hate this. 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 I hate to watch the fucking like piece of the top of the sewer. He's the top of the sewer and I'm the bottom. Wait, I didn't.
Ha! I'm stealing your content.
It's gonna be a monthly show. It takes a little bit of work to get that show to come to life. You know, you gotta
professional.
You gotta like shoot ahead of time.
Wait, does that make me a professional Mr. Beast reacting
it's
to?
It's not like a week turnaround deal. I gotta get 4 people. I gotta shoot with them. It takes an entire.
Wait, no, I'm
day
a
to shoot with them.
professional Mr. Beast reactor reacting to Mr. Beast.
To
Boom.
react to what they did after it's edited. It takes work, man. It's not a weekly thing. All right, chat. Hello. What is up? Hello. If you guys do not know, I'm trying this challenge, March Madness, where I go live every day in the month of March. And if I fail to go live every day in the month of March, I'm going to gift 1,000 subs and do a 24-hour stream where I stay awake for the entire 24 hours, which I've only done once ever in my career, ever. So that's my game
that would
plan.
suck.
And in that month of March, there's going to be some short streams. And welcome to one of those short streams. How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to watch Mr. Beast survive 7 days in an abandoned city. Because here's the thing. I think Mr. Beast videos are they're so good and big for us, for me, for you. And I'm able to upload them on my Ludwin's channel and fucking farm him for a shit ton of money. So shout out Mr. Beast. What a great guy. And we're going to take a look at him surviving 7 days in an abandoned city.
We just
Wait. No. I want to clarify. This is not an unethical react. This is not an unethical react. Mr. Beast allows me to react to his videos. I have permission. I have permission from the guy.
Damn.
I got permission from the guy.
I don't have permission. Shit. Run. Bruh, this is what I should do for all my streams. Yeah, that hurts my fingers. Don't know why I'm doing it still. Ba, 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 ba. Now, 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 now. See, this is what a small streamer actually. What counts as a small streamer, huh? Okay, that being said, around here, small streamers are generally anyone with an audience of 0 partnered. Once you get partnered on this subreddit, you are a rock star and a magician. 0 to 75 average concurrent viewers is pretty solid. Catch-all for small. Oh. Uh. Hey. Ugh. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'll just save it. Market. Simulate horror. If you're watching the stream right now, ask a friend to join you. Come on. Ooh. 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 But you there. What are you doing here? Why aren't you pressing the follow, huh? I don't know what I'm doing. One day. What day one? You know, I'm afraid of using my DoorDash app again because last time I tried to order a sub and I got the wrong sub. I wanted to get like one of those Stampede briskets and they gave me a chicken teriyaki with olives. Pretty sure it was like mustard, some type of orange sauce, and the wrong bread. It was supposed to be Italian herb and cheese, but it wasn't Italian herb and cheese. And there was spinach on it. Don't think it was the driver's fault. It was probably whoever was sorting their orders. And they fucked up and put mine with somebody else's. Whoever got my DoorDash must have been very proud. Yummy sub. What's in the bag? Oh, this is just my garbage. Fuck. Well, anyways. Yeah, I went to Dune. Smells like popcorn. My popcorn. You know, this is weird. Because if I put my whole entire hand in there, it's stuck. Until it slowly... Okay, it gets stuck like right here. It's like a hand massager when you put it in. Yeah. Yeah. My popcorn. Like your... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop that. Yeah. Mm. Very good. Oh, one thing I can't wait for is Epic Mickey. Mm. Epic Mickey. Epic Mickey is going to be a very cool game. With all that reanimation, probably improvements from the old game, and retextures. What happened? High five. Wahapa. Dang. Beep. Hmm. Bum 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 bum. Hey, bum bum be do boo. Boo do 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 do. Oh, dang it. Hmm. Oh, Um. Um. Ah. Okay, here's the deal. I'll be back in a few hours. I'm going to end the stream here, but I'll be back in, let's say, 5, 6. There we go. See you, everybody, at 6.